Death in a family is always sad. Death of a breadwinner with a wife and children is even more so. Around the world, the death of a spouse in most cases bring up challenges that often undermine the quality of life of those left behind. For women, the world calls them widows.
My husband died 2000 January, when I carried so much one baby.
I became a widow when I was 47 years old. And my husband was sick for good 3 years. And the family abandoned me and my husband.
The family reject us. Nobody out of us. The family reject us. They reject my children. Nobody. I have to struggle. Who am I to query God? Who am I to challenge God? Because He's the questionable God.
It has been ups and downs, struggling. I'm a mother of 3.
Just once every year, attention is drawn to their plight on June 23, marked as International Widows' Day.
People will neglect you. People will reject you.
Some people, before they will render help to you, they want to take you to bed.
There are some words that they will say to a widow that will injure that widow's mind, that will make the widow to think back and say,
I tell them not to rely on any man. Don't just believe that you'll get friend. Don't just believe your family people are there.
If I call some of my husband's friends, the people that I think that they can be of help for me, you see that they will disappoint me at the end of the day and they will turn it another way around and be looking for a way to take advantage of me because I am a widow.
Being a single parent is terrible, very, very terrible. I didn't even pray it for my worst enemy.
When your husband is there, you look as if you have an umbrella that covers you. You have respect. But when the man is not there, you see that people look down on you.
Heartbreaking conversations, to say the least. According to recent statistics, an average of 500 men die across Nigeria yearly, some naturally, others unexpectedly.
Because if, say, my husband died, Nashara died for good, he went and collect money, they kill her.
Please, my ribs. I said, what happened? What did you do? Did you fall down? Say no. That very night, he died.
Their death introduces their wives into the growing community of widows. Among them is Mrs. Grace Imariegbe, a struggling widow with 2 children, twins, a boy and a girl. They live in conditions that will break the hardest of hearts.
Things are not be easy at all. Things are not be easy. When we came here, the children was worried. They cry every time. They cry. If I say let us pray, if they pray, they will turn it to cry. Sometimes all of us will be crying. Who will pet each other? Small before you know. When somebody just favor me, somebody rend me a favor, I use the money, I buy wheelbarrow. When I bought wheelbarrow, I brought it. The children were happy. Say now we cannot carry with our head pan again, with head again. Now we can use wheelbarrow to push the sand.
How long have they lived like this, in such squalid conditions?
I've been a widow since 2008. Since my husband died, things are very, very tough. So since then, I'm the one taking good care of my children. The family neglect us, they reject us. Even the piece of land that my husband bought before he passed on, the brothers, they seized this from my children, they collected this from us. So since then, I've been struggling here and there to survive with the children.
We are not going to school in this place. Then my mom said that we should stay at home, that we should be praying, that God should send somebody that should take us to school. In Isashi, life was good there. There was light, there was no mosquito, there was no rain, sun. We were happy there. If there is sun, we enter inside shower, we bath. Now, when we came to here now, life has been hard for us. We are not able to be bathing like before. The mosquito is too much here. Ants. And mosquito is giving us malaria and cold. When they call us to come and fetch water, sometimes we fetch water, they will give us 300. Sometimes we will clear for people. We clear. They will call us to come and clear. Sometimes they will give us 1,000 or 1,200. We will collect it. When we bring the money, I'll give it to my mommy to cook. When there is no food, we use it and buy small thing, then we use it and eat.
How did it all happen?
They called my husband from home that he should come, that one of their elder brother died, that is his father's brother, that he will be the one that will lead them for the burial. That is how all of us prepare. So my husband came, Grace, my ribs. I said, what happened? What did you do? Did you fall down? Say no. Before you know, he started sick. That is how we carry him to General Hospital in Benin. That very night, he died. Around 12 o'clock, he died. So, as I stayed for 1.5 years, mocking him. The family reject us. Nobody has of us. The family reject us. They reject my children. Nobody. I have to struggle. No husband, no brother, no boyfriend. I say, no, Jesus is the husband of a widow. I will keep to these children. If it is my last vein, if it is my last life.
Grace is just one in millions. Globally, the number of widows is put around 245 million. And of this figure, over 100 live in extreme poverty. In Nigeria, statistics show that we have over 8 million disadvantaged widows with an estimated 21 million children. This is quite a huge number for any society. Why do these women suffer so?
My first son was in 200 level when I lost my husband 2009. So I can't discontinue the education of the child. Their family said it's none of their business.
First of all, husband family really face problem for right, for left. Like we people, whom and will stand. We talk to you, we will not supposed to talk to you. If you want to go and commit suicide, you can go and commit suicide. They don't care, they don't ask of the children, and they eat, whether school fees or anything. I know what I go through.
But the most annoying aspect of it is that what is due to my children in form of inheritance, maybe from the family, what is due to their father was denied them. And that is what most widows go through.
Up to today, I don't have freedom for when my husband is with me. Since 19 years now, I don't have freedom.
In Africa, and in Nigeria in particular, there is the belief system that a woman marries a family and not just a man. The allegations against the extended family unit is strong. There are strong claims that some of these behaviors are not random and may have their roots in certain cultures and traditions. We spoke to a chieftain from the Niger Delta and another from the Southeast.
One of the main practice of the people of Uroboland as regards widowhood is that the widow is taken as a special person. She is the responsibility of the whole family. The Urobo woman marries the whole family, not only her husband. That's why my senior brother cannot ask me, say, how is your wife? He will say, how is our wife? So the woman is a mother in the family and a wife to everyone in the family. For that reason, if she loses her direct husband, the rest of the family becomes her husband.
When a woman becomes a widow, traditionally, she has to bury her husband, mourn her husband for a minimum of 6 months. And within that 6 months, the woman has to wear the mourning cloth. She's supposed to shave her hair as a mark of respect for the husband. Then after the mourning period, there comes some questions and answers.
In our land, the woman is even viewed as a property, not to talk of property that they both own together. So the properties that the husband owns with the wife are assumed to be the man's properties. And if the man did not leave a will, I'm talking of current practices now, if the man did not leave a will, even if you go to court, the court will award something to the family. So it is possible, if you are not lucky, the customary court may actually say, you leave the house for the family.
A woman that loses her husband after mourning the husband, depending on her age and her choice, has the right to cease remain in the family as a married woman to the family. They will give her a knife and say, among the male brothers in the family, anybody she gives the knife means that person will take over the position of the husband.
Asking the woman to marry a member of the family is still on till tomorrow. She is appointed and given to a member of the family to look after in great details. In fact, in marriage, someone in the family has to marry her. If she does not want to marry, everything is handled amicably. She is asked, what is your choice? What do you want to do? And she says, I don't want to marry any member of this family. Okay. So she is allowed to go. But if there is a young man within the family who showed serious interest in her and she kind of snubs him, that member of the family can create a lot of confusion for her. And it can get to the extent where she will be asked to leave the family. Then she must return the dowry. But usually it is a token that is returned. Just a token, not the whole dowry.
Shaving of head is like a respect. It's mark of respect for the husband, you know. But it's still in practice, and the people that normally do it are the Omo adults. But it's not as if you will be forced to do it, but they know it's It's the tradition.
During the sharing, because that's the other part of the culture, the woman is shared along with the properties of the man. During the sharing, most of it will be given to the children, but some will be given to other members of the family. In fact, in most cases, if your father was old and he had young wives, one of the children of the man will be made to marry the young wives of the late father. I think that practice is not good.
Many people normally confirm and said when a man dies, the woman, they sees the woman as a witch. That woman is the one that killed the husband. So I want people to know that, this world is not permanent.
Like now, if they accuse the woman of killing the husband, in my place, they'll ask you, they'll administer an oath to you. We are not God. Vengeance is left for God. The oath taking is like convincing the community or your accusers that I did not kill this man, I did not have hand in the death of this man. It doesn't mean whether you have hand or you don't have hand. Nobody has the way to determine whether you have hand in the death or not.
You are a witch, you killed your husband, you can stay there and suffer. Nobody will do anything about you. But if it is a serious case in which people actually believe strongly, they will ask her to take all kinds of oaths. Some people will even go to the extent of asking her to drink the water that they use in washing the husband. Things like that.
A lot of innovation has come up and it has really affected the culture. And it's a blessing because what people know now is not what they knew those days. You don't just get up and condemn somebody all in the name of you committed atrocity, you committed unforgiven whatever. You don't take laws into your hand. There are laws there. The traditional customs is a matter of conscience. I mean, if you decide to administer an oath on me, it's left for me to ask, I have the right to say I will not. If you kill your husband during this, I don't subscribe to that. And it can't happen in my reign. Because when somebody is dead, there are other means of identifying what killed that person. It was in those old days that they don't have the system, the mechanism to identify what killed that person. Now, anybody that is dead, you can do autopsy. An autopsy report will definitely indicate what killed the man. And if the autopsy report reveals that the woman killed the husband, she will face the law.
A woman who has been very good within the family can never be abandoned by the family. I can tell you that. It's only a woman who has been difficult, particularly to her husband, while the husband was alive. In fact, it will even be assumed that she is responsible for the death of the husband. That's the more reason why people will abandon her.
Employers of labor of these men who work hard and pass away untimely, often without a plan in place for their family's welfare. What role do they play?
After my husband left, the colleagues threw us out, pack our load to Main Road. He's a fireman, firefighter. The first time, they nailed our door joined together, keep me with the children 2 weeks outside. No food, no clothes. All our property is inside house. Then after that one, they throw it outside.
My husband was the first man, and we were living in barrack because the government gave us 6 months to pay almost 2 million. And the job, I'm a teacher by profession. I'm in a low-rank officer.
Like the place I went to college. Now, and I find out that They don't even want to give me a shop because I'm a widow. They gave me that shop at the first time, and they later used another way to collect it. They are asking, do you think that the woman can be able to pay for this shop if the rentage is due? Because she's a widow. And when we talk, people will support her.
Till today, they have not given us anything. The last time that they came to our place that warrants me to stand naked before them, this man died in acute service. No burial, nothing. No care for the children. Not even a handshake for any good thing of life.
See, that's not surprising that that happened. I mean, I've heard of several cases of things like that happening. For those kind of companies, it's a question of economics, you know. They're thinking time, they're thinking money, and if they have no, if that spouse isn't working with them anymore, there's somebody else waiting for the same accommodations. So for many organizations, they would have what you call some type of insurance, such that when a spouse dies, they're able to take care of their beneficiaries. In this case, it would be the widow and her children. For most organizations, it's one payoff. It's just a payoff. Some organizations will spread it over a couple of months. Really, there are no laws as to how it is done. It just depends on the organization. Some organizations will take them up for maybe a year, pay school fees, and do stuff like that. But usually, a lot of these things are agreed beforehand, and it depends on the type of insurance coverage the organization has for the employees.
A report not too long ago by the United Nations identified the continued plight of widows as a major threat to the realization of the Millennium Development Goals 1, 3, and 8, which seeks to end poverty, promote gender equality, and engender global partnership. Now, Nigeria, as you may know, is among the 120 signatories to the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. But much has not changed in the way women, especially widows, are treated in the society when it comes to the issue of inheritance and rights. What does the law say?
Once a woman loses the husband, she should be predisposed to certain kind of information, okay? Nobody have the right, okay, to inherit her as property under our laws. Nobody have the right to inflict traditional and cultural violent practices against her. Nobody have the right to subject her to sleep in the same room where the corpse of her husband is kept, because that's exactly what they do in some of the culture. Nobody shall be subjected into any kind of servitude. Nobody shall be dehumanized of his human person or be disrespected, you know. So that is why women should think first and decide, take on a statutory law marriage. That is very important. And while the husband is alive, they should also remind the husband to have a will. Because once the man have a will, and in his will he has stated everything there, the woman is at advantage, because the will determine how the thing will go, okay? But where there's no will, the man dies intestate, and she's married under native law and custom. She's in trouble.
Governments say they're doing their best. Some tout the various amounts they spend on widows' welfare. Wives of state governments, and even that of the President of Nigeria, have pet projects that hope to address some of the basic issues so identified. But experts say these are just too little. More needs to be done, definitely.
The suggestion I will give to government is that the various states we have, they should come up with legislations, laws, that once a woman loses the husband, if she's not skilled, okay, if she's not skilled, she should be enrolled in a program of her choice. And then the government should cater for that.
The government can come to our aid. Your lady, he said you cannot be giving fish. You have to teach somebody how to fish, so that by tomorrow, that person will not disturb. If they can help us raise a little money for us to be trading, so that we'll be able to take good care of our children, we'll be glad.
God will already do it for me, but I pray that God, some widows that just happen, their own just happen, let government put eye for them and help them, because it's not easy thing.
Those that God gives the ability to care, the ability of caring, they should try and care for widows, not hoping to get something in return from them, because it's only God that rewards.
Agreeably, some women are lucky either to be well provided for by their spouses or they're gainfully engaged financially. But for the majority, as you've seen so far, the story is rather an uneven one. The truth? Non-governmental organizations are plentiful across the continent of Africa, and Nigeria has its fair share, like the Blessed Fruit Foundation and the Trinity Center, that work to help alleviate the challenges widows face.
In 2008, I got a call that I should work for widows and orphans. I should support and assist them.
Actually, I lost my husband at a very tender age, 30 years, 1985. I was just 30 years, 1985, and with tiny children. It was not easy, but I continued trying. But along the line, I had this urge to call and help them through their plight, address their issues.
And since then, we've been having so many programs, and a lot of widows have been coming to register with us. Now we have over 200 or 300 of them registered with the foundation.
They will give me money that I will pay interest for me. So when they give me until I deposit with the children, they never do. You don't want to give it to them. Their faith help us a lot. They help us, especially for food. Then if person sick, we prepare them.
Well, we have several intervention programs. The first and most important one is what we call the Business Empowerment Program, where they apply for loans. And the loans are interest-free. The foundation pays the interest for them. They just pay the principal over a period of 6 months. Then we have a program we call Back to School, where we support about 50 children.
As highlighted by the United Nations, empowering widows through access to adequate healthcare, education, decent work of lives free of violence and abuse requires more than charity if they are to have a chance to build a secure life after they lose their loved one. The role of the government, the UN emphasizes, is to take action to uphold their commitments to ensure the rights of widows as enshrined in international law, including the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women and the Convention on the Rights of the Child, are upheld. What is your role, you say? It will never happen to me. So did some of the women we spoke to, and many others think. Just do what you can for the widows around you. Little drops of water, they say, makes a mighty ocean. We can if we choose.